Thank you. Be seated. Last year, I told a different story. This year, I thought I'd go ahead and do another one. So, we're not going to do both the same story. I just wanted you to know that's not going to be the same story. It is a continuation of the story. Have you noticed how people love to tell you to go for broke? They love it. Go for it. Go for broke. And then when you actually make it to broke, they're not so impressed. They're not even around. So that is why I say, go for mediocrity. Dare to be average. It's my motto. But once in a while, you have to go for broke. You have to go for broke. Last year I told this story about a devastating miscarriage that I had. It was hilarious. It's okay to laugh at my pain. It really is. That's how I cope with pain. And that child spirit that came to me during that pregnancy seemed to linger around me. Now, whether it's real or imagined, I don't know, but I felt a knocking on my consciousness, a baby saying, I want to be born. And it was sort of bugging me for 12 years, and I was busy. And then I reached a point in my life where, oh, look, I have a new husband, I'm building a house, maybe it's time we had a baby. We had a couple of complications, I will say. He had some fertility issues, a very low count. 0 was the count. Absolutely no, what do you call them? Testicles. A very tiny penis and 2 beautiful breasts. And his name was, let's call him Sarah. That part is made up. Don't judge him, okay? Don't judge Sarah. He tried every night to knock me up, and it wasn't happening. So we ended up buying sperm, and for months until the money got tight, and then we borrowed sperm. And then there was this one time, I have to admit, I stole some sperm from a very handsome cowboy in Wyoming. But that's another story. I'd like to tell it another slam someday. So, dang it, a year of trying, and still I could not honor the call to be a mom. I failed. There's no better way to say it. Totally failed it. And I went to a therapist, as we do in Boulder, to make peace with myself. And she said, why don't you adopt? And I'm like, okay. Pregnancy sounds challenging and painful to give birth, but adoption sounds really hard. Seriously, it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of agency fees. And I'm 42 now, so I don't know if I have this kind of time. So she said, why don't you go off and just pretend for a week that you are adopting instead of belaboring the point, no pun intended. So I don't know if you know what, I didn't know this. I don't know if maybe you've tried this in your life, but I just kept going like on a binary, like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. She's like, just go to the 1 and sit there for a week. And you know what, that is very helpful. You can use that if you like. Next time, like, do I want the chili or the pizza? Sit with the chili for a little while. You're welcome. I'm a message performer. So I came back a week later, and yeah, sure enough, I had energy. My soul had expanded. I was clear. I am adopting a child. I mean, this is happening. And this is one of those times where I felt compelled, and I did. I went all in. I went for broke. Heart, soul, and bank account. And I started the process. Now, at this point in the story, what we need to have is some visuals like they have in the movies where the calendar goes, you know? It's like 18 months later of paperwork and a notebook this thick and agency fees, and I had to go dust off my nursing license. How many CEUs is that going to be? Just pay $85. Okay. I'm working as a nurse again. I'm paying for all those agency fees, and somehow, by a miracle, I got matched with a little boy in Nepal. Now, this is exciting for me. I am in Kathmandu. I meet this beautiful boy named Raju, and I ask questions. Something didn't feel quite right in my gut. What is his history? And that particular orphanage was not super open to my questions. And they yelled at me, "We will tell you who is an orphan." And I'm like, oh, I think I'll take that dossier and be heading on out. So I left that orphanage, and I felt like, okay, well, shit, I'm the first person to have a miscarriage during an adoption. This is getting to be a pattern. So there I was in Nepal with no referral, no match. The agency I chose here in Boulder turns out to be unethical. She ends up going to prison for federal fraud. Yes, so I'm in country, but clear, still, committed. I'm all in, and I am not leaving. And I ended up tagging along with volunteers. I stayed for 6 months, just hanging out at schools and orphanages, and it was easy to do. Play with the kids, do a little soccer, pick a little ice. You know what I'm saying? And somehow, bonding with this Nepalese lawyer that I had met there, who laughed with me, and I don't know how we bonded, but we did, and he helped me, and he found a match for me. A very beautiful little boy, 5 or 6 months old, sick with a kidney infection in the hospital, keeps getting reinfected, and wow, thank God for that nursing license. I was able to get him out of the hospital, give him IV antibiotics at home, at my apartment in Kathmandu, and clean diapers. And thank God for that. It's a ring of truth, isn't it? And of course, you know what happened next. My visa ran out. So I had to go back to Nepal, back to Boulder, and wait for all the paperwork to go through. And again, that clarity, that all in, that go for broke, I never wavered once. 7 months later, sure enough, they called me and said, "Your paperwork's done, come get your son." And I went back, and the orphanage, a new orphanage director handed me my son and said, "And now he will cry." Because that's what he did when he went to strangers. And he wiggled in my arms and climbed me like a tree and gave me a kiss. Really? Yeah. His name is Biswas, which means have faith, believe, and trust. And I encourage you to do that. Thank you for hearing my story.